Hello and a very good evening. You're watching the news at 6 on Rajya Sabha television with me, Frank Pereira. Here are the headlines. Centre approves 2% interest subsidy on farm loans and additional 3% for timely repayments. Move aimed at providing huge relief to debt-ridden farmers. Madhya Pradesh Chief Minister Shivraj Singh Chauhan meets families of the farmers killed in police firing in Mandsaur, gives assistance of 1 crore rupees to family of one of the deceased. Noisy scenes in Tamil Nadu Assembly. Opposition DMK members evicted from the house after raising the issue of alleged horse trading of AIADMK MLAs. Wholesale price inflation index falls to a 5-month low of 2.17% in May. WPI food index decreases from 2.9% in April to 0.15% in May. Six people killed and over 30 injured in a massive blaze in central London building. Hundreds of firefighters worked through the night to rescue people trapped inside. Well, the Union Cabinet on Wednesday cleared the interest subvention scheme for farmers. With this decision, the farmers will continue to get short-term loans of up to 3 lakh rupees at a subsidized interest rate of 7%. And prompt repayers will get it at 4% as the government extended the subsidy to banks for 2017-18. The cabinet has approved the total expenditure of 20,339 crore rupees in the current financial year. This decision by the Union Cabinet comes at a time when farmers across the country are protesting to get their farm loans waived. Farmers from Maharashtra and Madhya Pradesh are among the worst hit. Earlier, as an interim measure, the Reserve Bank of India had asked the banks to continue giving the discount on interest on short-term crop loans during the current fiscal. Well, 8 days after 5 farmers died in police firing in Mandsaur in Madhya Pradesh, Chief Minister Shivraj Singh Chauhan met the families of those who lost their lives. The Chief Minister gave the families compensation of 1 crore rupees each and assured of all assistance. Congress leader Jyotiraditya Scindia also began a 72-hour protest in Bhopal demanding loan waiver. Madhya Pradesh Chief Minister Shivraj Singh Chauhan on Wednesday met families of the farmers killed in the police firing last week. Giving them a compensation of 1 crore each, he assured them that their loans will be waived off.
संवेदना प्रकट करने मैं आया था, उनसे चर्चा हुई। किसानों की तकलीफें भी सुन रहा हूं, चर्चा भी कर रहा हूं, बातचीत भी कर रहा हूं। कई उपाय प्रदेश सरकार ने किए हैं, वो भी सबकी जानकारी में आ रहे हैं। शांति सद्भाव रहे और किसान आगे बढ़े, उसके लिए हर संभव प्रयास किए जाएंगे।
Ahead of the Chief Minister's visit to Badwan village in Mandsaur district, families of the deceased farmers demanded strict action against the people responsible for their killings.
सख्त कार्रवाई की जाए साहब। उन्होंने बताया कि हमारे बच्चे को किसान संघ रैली चल रही थी, निकल रही थी, उसमें बताया उनको पुलिस वालों ने ले जाके थाने में ले जाके उनको इतना पीटा साहब, उनको दोनों हाथ पैर तोड़ दिए, उनके कुत्ते की तरह मारा, उनको न तो पानी पिलाया, पानी के लिए उनकी जान निकल गई साहब। उन्होंने पुलिस वालों ने जान ले ली उनकी साहब।
बाकी सभी किसानों की जो भी मरे, उन सबका यही कहना है कि मतलब उनको कार्यवाही की जाए, पेशे से सबसे पहले उसको निकाले, क्योंकि इतनी अथॉरिटी सीएम ने दे नहीं रखी कि आप गोलियां चलाओ, ये करो।
1 करोड़ रुपए की राशि तारे बैंक में जमा आएगा।
अच्छा
हाँ, और बैंक माफ कर दूंगा।
Meanwhile, Congress party leader Jyotiraditya Scindia, who was prevented from visiting Mandsaur, started a 72-hour satyagraha in Bhopal. He demanded a loan waiver for the state farmers who are holding protests since June 1st, demanding better prices for their produce. Mandsaur emerged as the epicenter of the farmers' agitation last week after 5 farmers were killed in the agitation that turned violent. While the district has remained calm since then, 3 farmers have reportedly committed suicide in the state in the last 24 hours, taking the number of farmer deaths in the last 2 weeks to 9. With Ravindra Sharon, Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha Television. Well, after protests in Madhya Pradesh and Maharashtra, farmers in Uttar Pradesh also have demanded a loan waiver. While the 3-month-old Yogi Adityanath government announced a farm loan waiver in its first cabinet meeting, farmers allege that the current procedure for identifying farmers threatens to leave out the large chunk that faced acute agrarian distress. Farmer leaders also said that they will participate in the protest march at Jantar Mantar on Thursday. The state government has accused the opposition of instigating farmers for political benefit. Arena leader
हम कर्ज माफी की बात क्यों करते? कब तक कर्ज माफ करते रहोगे? वो पैसा कहीं न कहीं पूरे जनता का है, वो अच्छे काम में लगे। क्यों किसानों का कर्ज माफ करने की बात कहकर सत्ता में लोग आ जाते हैं? हम चाहते हैं कर्ज माफ करने की स्थिति ना आए। आज मान लीजिए अगर योगी सरकार पहली बैठक में उन्होंने निर्णय लिया और तुरंत हम सोच रहे थे कि धान की रोपाई में ये फैसला लेकर इम्प्लीमेंट हो जाएगा। गांव में किसान जो है अपने आप को ठगा महसूस कर रहा, दिन रात मेहनत करने के बाद एक उम्मीद थी भाजपा से कि बड़ा अच्छा काम करेंगे। ये कुछ हमारी उम्मीदें थी वो खत्म हो गई हैं और हम पूरी तरीके से अपने आप को ठगे हुए महसूस करके और सोच रहे हैं कि आगे हमको करना क्या है।
उत्तर प्रदेश की पहली सरकार है जो निर्णय लिया गया है कि किसान हैं उनके कर्ज माफ करे जाएंगे और वो हमारे कैबिनेट का पहला निर्णय था। जो विपक्ष हैं उनको कोई मुद्दा बनाने का है क्योंकि देश भर में कुछ ऐसे मुद्दे उन लोग ने बनाए हैं और राहुल गांधी, अब समझ भी आ गया है कि कांग्रेस और राहुल गांधी खुद ही दंगे करवाते हैं किसानों के और किसान आंदोलन में शिरकत करते हैं। तो वो इन लोग की एक है, यहाँ पे समाजवादी पार्टी, बहुजन समाज पार्टी, ये सब लोग इसी प्रकार की राजनीति करते हैं।
Well, days after the BJP formed a 3-member committee to build consensus on presidential polls, opposition party leaders met earlier today to discuss their strategy for the polls. The meeting was attended by 10 members of the subgroup that was formed after all 17 opposition party leaders met a few days ago to form a united opposition ahead of the polls. However, no names were discussed in today's meeting. Meanwhile, the BJP's 3-member committee will meet Congress President Sonia Gandhi and CPIM leader Sitaram Yechuri on Friday to discuss probable candidates. The filing of nominations for the July 17th election to the top constitutional post began today.
ये हम आपस में बात कर रहे थे कि बीच में एक डेवलपमेंट हुई कि रूलिंग पार्टी ने 3 आदमियों का ग्रुप बनाया, तो ये प्रक्रिया भी उनकी तरफ से शुरू हुई है। उन्होंने रूलिंग पार्टी ने अपोजिशन के नेताओं को कांटेक्ट शुरू कर दिया है। अगले कुछ दिनों में इस सब कमेटी की दोबारा मीटिंग होगी तो शायद उसमें हम विस्तार से चर्चा कर पाएंगे।
Well, chaos in the Tamil Nadu Assembly today led to all members of the main opposition party, the DMK, being forced out of the building. The DMK members faced the action after they tried to raise the cash for vote controversy in the House. Leader M.K. Stalin and 86 others took to the streets and blocked the traffic, which later resulted in their arrest.
The Tamil Nadu Assembly witnessed noisy scenes on Wednesday when opposition DMK members raised the issue of alleged horse trading of AIADMK MLAs. DMK members raised the issue despite being denied permission to do so. Speaker P. Dhanapal disallowed a discussion as sought by the leader of opposition M.K. Stalin, stating that the matter was sub judice. He then ordered the eviction of all DMK members from the House as they resorted to sloganeering. Soon after the eviction, Stalin and other DMK MLAs blocked roads outside the assembly. They were later detained by the police. The opposition has now demanded dissolution of the K. Palaniswamy government.
See, we have already raised this issue on the floor of the assembly. That is why we sought voting, secret ballot. That was totally denied, and now the matter is pending in the court. All we have already told the people and the press also. So whatever we said is true. So the court should take cognizance of this and render justice.
DMK members tried to raise the matter related to a sting operation which was carried out by 2 news channels. The sting operation showed an AIADMK MLA making some claims of payoffs to ruling party MLAs ahead of the trust vote that was sought and won by the Palaniswamy government on February 18th. The DMK has termed the incident shameful and said that the State Assembly should discuss the matter. Tamil Nadu's ruling party has been embroiled in controversy since the death of J. Jayalalitha. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, the Gorkha Janmukti Morcha protest-led shutdown in the Darjeeling Hills entered the third day on Wednesday. The GJM with the other hill parties took out rallies in several areas demanding a separate Gorkha land. No violence incident was reported even as GJM chief Vimal Gurung lashed out at the police saying that they are working like the TMC cadre. The centre is also monitoring the developing situation in Darjeeling. On Tuesday, it sought a report from the West Bengal government on the law and order situation in the hills. Well, at least 20 people died as torrential monsoon showers hit northeastern states since Tuesday. Flash flooding was reported in parts of Assam and Mizoram. 12 people died in Guwahati alone, while several people are missing. 8 persons were killed in Mizoram. Hundreds of houses were washed away across Mizoram. The heavy showers are due to the formation of a low-pressure area in the region. It was due to this weather system that the Brahmaputra and tributary rivers swelled, causing flooding. This low-pressure area is expected to continue bringing heavy spells of rain over Assam and Mizoram for the next 48 hours. National Highway 54, which links Mizoram with Assam, has been cut off at several places due to landslides. Flooding has also been reported in southern Hyderabad. Waterlogging was reported from a lot of places in the city. Residents were forced to wade through waist-high water to travel small distances. The Met Department says that the country is likely to receive higher monsoon rainfall than previously forecast, as concern over the El Nino weather condition has eased.
At present, the weather conditions that have prevailed have shown that the southwest monsoon has touched the Rayalaseema on 7th June, and the onset of the monsoon over Rayalaseema and some parts of south coastal AP had occurred on 7th June, and it slightly advanced into some parts of Rayalaseema by 11th June.
An inflation based on the wholesale price index fell to a 5-month low of 2.17% in May on the back of softening vegetable prices. The WPI-based inflation stood at 3.85% in April 2017. The WPI food index decreased from 2.9% in April to 0.15% in May. The WPI for the month is based on the new base year 2011-12, which was revised last month from 2004 to 2005. With an aim to reflect the macroeconomic picture more accurately. Well, let's take a look now at some of the other developments from across the country and nationwide. The Pakistani army on Wednesday violated the ceasefire twice by shelling mortars and firing from small arms along the LOC in Kashmir's Rajouri and Poonch districts. The firing was retaliated by the Indian Army. There were, however, no casualties or damage on the Indian side. It was the 12th ceasefire violation in the last 4 days. Indian naval ships have reached Australia for Aussie Index 17, a joint bilateral maritime exercise this week. The exercise aims to increase interoperability and cooperation between the two countries. This will be the second edition of the exercise after the first one at Visakhapatnam in 2015. The Delhi High Court on Wednesday rejected the bail plea of alleged middleman Sukesh Chandrasekhar in the AIADMK 2 leave symbol case. The Delhi police claimed that Sukesh had many cases pending against him. Earlier, another accused in the case, AIADMK leader TTV Dinakaran, was granted bail by the Supreme Court on June 1st. Well, it's time for a short break now, but news and updates will continue on the other side. Stay tuned, we'll be right back.
The story we thought we knew. The story of magnificence. The story of bloody battles. Of those who ruled and those who left their footprints. The story charting the course of our past. Talking history on Rajya Sabha TV.
Bulletin, a labyrinth of hundreds of narrow stairway passages, is a significant and historical component of what you popularly know as Bara Imam Bara. Some of these narrow stairways have dead ends, some end at precipitous drops, while others lead to entrance or exit points. Historically, Bulletin was constructed to confuse the enemy intruder, and the narrow lanes of the labyrinth can make anyone feel lost. The structure contains various strategically built hollows in the corridors.
Art arisen from a multi-hued cultural canvas. Tradition and cultural fervour dating back centuries. And encircling them all, there's a magic that awes. Embrace your nation's brilliant human warmth. Watch Colours of India, Sundays at 9:30 p.m. on Rajya Sabha television.
Welcome back. You're watching Rajya Sabha television. Well, at least 6 people were killed and scores injured after a massive fire ripped through a 24-story tower block in West London on Wednesday. The Metropolitan Police said it is not yet known how many people are missing and the death toll is expected to rise. Meanwhile, the cause of the fire is still unknown.
It was an inferno. It was like something out of a film. All bits were flying off of the flats, all the plastic cladding was coming off. I was looking up and I could see little kids at the windows banging, screaming, flashing lights. So it was like something out of a horror movie.
Yeah, there was smoke everywhere, literally everywhere. There was people downstairs, there was bits of the block, the cladding falling off the block that was on fire. People screaming.
Residents of Grenfell building, which erupted in flames in the wee hours of Wednesday, describing the horrific scenes they witnessed. During the night, eyewitnesses saw lights flashing in the top floors of the block, probably signals that they needed rescuing. Residents are also said to have tossed their children to safety. The fire, which broke out at around 1 a.m. engulfed almost every floor from the 2nd to the 24th of the high-rise tower block in North Kensington, West London. Plumes of black and grey smoke billowed high into the air hours after the blaze broke out. Most of the building has now been reduced to a blackened hulk, with debris raining down several blocks away.
I heard some people said help from the 20 floors, 19s. They are flashing the lights and now they stop. I don't know what happened to them, if they're safe or not, but it was really horrible fire I never see in my life.
While the police have cordoned off the immediate area of the estate and surrounding streets, hundreds of people who were evacuated continue to wander the streets in shock.
Those who fled said that no fire alarm sounded, sprinklers failed and straightaways were blocked. Residents also claimed that many concerns over the safety of the building had been raised with the council, but to no effect.
We repeatedly reported concerns. Tenant management organisation of the Royal Borough of Kensington and Chelsea, including fire safety concerns, which were not investigated during the regeneration works.
Hundreds of firefighters worked through the night to rescue those trapped inside and to put out the fire. London Fire Brigade said the fire engulfed all floors from the second to the top of the block, which contained 130 apartments. The Mayor of London and the London Fire Commissioner have declared the fire a major incident.
We have got a structural engineer who, in conjunction with my urban search and rescue advisor, is monitoring the stability of the building. We are still working very hard. We rescued large numbers of people from inside the building very early on across a range of different floors. I've spoken to crews who have been up as far as the 19th and 20th floor, so we've got crews continuing to work very hard in there at the moment.
The Metropolitan Police has set up an emergency number for anyone concerned about friends or family. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, here's a roundup of the other international news in Global Buzz. The death toll in the Bangladesh landslide rose to 146, while Rangamati Hill district was the worst affected with 105 deaths. Bandarban and Chittagong reported the rest of the casualties. Many of the victims reportedly belong to tribal groups who live in makeshift structures along the hills. Many people are still reported missing. Tropical storm Calvin flooded a refinery of the Mexican state oil company in the southern state on Tuesday, after which authorities briefly stalled the operations. Floodwaters filled parts of the refinery and installations while staff worked to clear debris, also causing damage to the roads and neighboring cities. Residents had to evacuate some towns. However, no deaths or injuries were reported. American student Otto Warmbier, who was released from North Korea, arrived in the US after being held captive for 17 months. Warmbier was sentenced to prison for 15 years with hard labor for alleged anti-state acts. The University of Virginia student reportedly fell ill from botulism and later lapsed into coma in 2016 after taking a sleeping pill. The victim arrived at Cincinnati Municipal Lunken Airport on Tuesday after being medically evacuated. A joint investigation team summoned Pakistan's Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif's younger brother Shehbaz Sharif in the Panama Gate graft case. The six-member panel will record Sharif's statement on June 17. Sharif's son was also questioned last month over alleged improper business dealings in London. Prime Minister Sharif has been asked to appear before the GIT tomorrow. Well, Sports Minister Vijay Goel on Wednesday felicitated French Open mixed doubles winner Rohan Bopanna in the national capital. Bopanna became the fourth Indian to win a Grand Slam title in Paris last week. Praising Bopanna's dedication while playing the sport for the last 17 years, Goel said that he had made the country proud. Both also discussed the promotion of tennis among youth in the country. On June 8th, Bopanna joined Leander Paes, Mahesh Bhupati and Sania Mirza in the elite club of Indian Grand Slam winners. Well, that's it on this newscast. Have a good evening.